If you're keeping track out there, this is our 11th hero deep dive for Marvel's Midnight Suns. Release looms, everybody. It'll be here soon. As always, this video is brought to you by Marvel and 2K. In today's deep dive, we got a very unique and brand new mechanic that you haven't seen yet. A superhero birthed and raised by two dark wizards, and a weapon called the Staff of One that's known for casting spells with some random effects. Today's deep dive is focusing on none other than Nico Minoru. You may already be piecing together a little bit about how Nico's playstyle might unfold, but just stay with me here. She's a support hero with a pretty bizarre twist at play. I'd like to introduce a new mechanic present on a lot of Nico's cards. It's called Roulette. Now this means that the card or ability's effect is going to be determined when the card is drawn into your hand. One of the key gameplay design elements in Midnight Suns is that you're able to execute a plan with a high level of certainty based on the cards that you've drawn. And that's still the case here, but Nico will certainly keep you on your toes. To balance this out, her capabilities are very powerful. You just have to do the best with the hand that you're dealt, as in life. Let's start with a pretty straightforward example. Nico has a card called Swarm that's got the roulette mechanic. For this card, only the damage is modified when it's drawn. It can either be 100% of your offense, 200% of your offense, or 250% of your offense. You won't know what it is until it's added to your hand, but then you can plan accordingly. Does that make sense? Her upgrades are interesting too. In this scenario, upgrading Swarm will add a 300% damage option to the roulette pool, and then a late game mod could even see it gaining a redraw mechanic to recover some health. Now the mod system can add some reliability to her randomness, but the core roulette mechanics will always be there. Now, if you can pry Nico away from her club duties from time to time, you may be able to develop a small friendship with her. Her level 1 passive isn't as easy to trigger as some others since her health has to be at 100%, but if it is, you'll get a 33% chance to draw a card whenever a Nico card is played. Once this is upgraded to level 2, however, that health requirement's removed, and mathematically you could reasonably expect to get an extra draw once every 3 Nico card plays or so. Now let's move into a slightly more complex card like Double Up. You'll notice that in this scenario, it's generating a copy of each attack card in your hand. But because it also has Roulette, it could have been drawn with the ability to draw copies of skill cards or even a heroic card instead. A well-timed Double Up could easily set you up for the next couple of rounds if you plan correctly. Now keep in mind that generating a copy of a card doesn't add them to your deck. They are, in effect, discarded or just removed after they're played. On upgrade, you'll remove the exhaust tag from the card, and then you can use it multiple times in battle. Really, really strong because it's not just generating Nico cards, it's generating copies of all of those card types in your hand. So we've looked at 2 roulette cards. Let's look at how her quote-unquote normal cards operate, because they ain't normal. Nothing about Nico is. The Witchstorm heroic card, for example, is going to target an enemy, and when you do, you'll notice a circle on the ground. You're going to damage the targeted enemy or random nearby enemies within that circle 4 times. What I love about this is that you can still work the odds into your favor with smart targeting, but you can't always be certain about what might come out of this. It also has, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful animations in the game. On upgrade, you're going to reduce the heroism costs, making this more reliably played when you have it. And you're never going to get sick of watching it be played because it is absolutely stunning. Lastly, you guys know what's coming by now. Nico's Midnight Suns golden heroic ability. It's called Crack the Sky. Sticking with the theme, Crack the Sky sees Nico taken to the skies with her Staff of One. She conjures up some wings, and then she rains down absolute havoc on enemies below. She'll consume all heroism to deal random enemies X amount of times, depending on how much heroism was consumed. But for each knockout, the squad's going to gain a heroism back. On upgrade, you'll see a 50% increase in damage output. But as you probably guessed, both versions are going to have exhaust on them because they're super powerful. So yeah, she's a support hero, but she can dish out the damage when necessary. Thanks again, everybody, for watching these showcases. If you're not subscribed to the Marvel's Midnight Suns channel or my own, well, you know the drill. This would be the time to do it. We've got a lot more content to show you between now and the release of Marvel's Midnight Suns. My name is Christopher Odd, and before wrapping up, I want to thank Marvel and 2K for working with me on this series. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you again very shortly.